from Swire Coca-Cola. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Roger White, the Division Vice President for Swire Coca-Cola, based right here in Glendale. Our office and facility is just a couple miles away. Right here in Glendale, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 350 employees that service the West Valley and Western Maricopa County. We're proud to support WESTMARC in its mission to advance the economic development and investment in Western Maricopa County. We'll talk just a few minutes on our company. For those that don't know us, Swire Coca-Cola produces, sells, and distributes Coca-Cola and other brands throughout the state of Arizona. In the state, we employ over 1,600 people. We have 11 facilities located throughout the state, including one production facility in Tempe. Swire Coke products are sold in every community across the state. We're committed to providing quality service and top-flight quality products and top-flight service for all of our customers. We have a beverage for everyone, for every occasion, and for every palate. We produce and sell Coca-Cola and so much more: waters, teas, juices, sports hydration, energy drinks, and the list goes on and on. We're also committed to the communities that we serve. Our company donates a percentage of our profits, and our employees volunteer their time to give a whole host of causes that impact communities large and small throughout the state. We also make a significant commitment to the sustainability of our environment. For us, this means replenishing 1 liter of water for every 1 liter of water that we use in our products. This goal, the Coca-Cola system boldly set in 2012, and probably achieved that goal in 2016. Last year, we pledged to do the same thing with our packaging. We plan to find ways to recycle every one of our cans and bottles for every one that we produce by the year 2030. Today, I have the honor to introduce another Arizonan who is committed to the communities he serves, Governor Doug Ducey. When first elected in 2014, Governor Ducey put his business experience to great use, converting $1 billion state budget deficit into a surplus in his first term without raising taxes, all the while investing in Arizona's schools and infrastructure. He has stimulated the economy by streamlining the tax code and cutting burdensome regulations, allowing businesses to grow and new startups to flourish. Governor Ducey is prioritizing our future, not just our economy as a land of opportunity for all, but putting education first in Arizona, building generations of future leaders, business owners, and citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Governor Doug Ducey.
Thank you, Roger, for the introduction. Thank you to all of you for the warm welcome, and thanks to Bobby Magdaleno and Cintra Hoffman and WESTMARC for hosting me this afternoon. I'm honored to be back here today, and with Christmas and the holidays behind us, and the kids back in school, I want you to know I'm ready to get to work. 2018 brought a lot our way. And election years tend to do that for people in my business. But elections also bring change and new faces. And in government, that's a really good thing. It wasn't that long ago, you may remember, that I was new to state government. I ran because I cared, believed I could make a difference, and felt we needed some fresh ideas at the state capitol. No doubt, many of the newly elected leaders that are in this room are serving for the same reasons. Bipartisanship is a word we hear a lot these days, a word that gets tossed around a lot. It seems everyone has their own definition. So let me be clear about the approach I intend to take in this second term. I'm not here just to work with Republicans on Republican ideas. And bipartisanship doesn't simply mean working with Democrats on democratic ideas. I'm here as governor of all the people to work with everyone on good ideas. And now is the time to do so, because the state of our state is strong, and it's getting stronger. The challenge before us is to lay the groundwork today to make sure the Arizona of tomorrow remains strong. Doing so requires action now to do the things that matter and secure Arizona's future. The issues we need to tackle aren't partisan ones. In some cases, they aren't even political. At the top of my list, securing our water future. Now stay with me. This is not an issue that leads the news. It doesn't make for a snappy headline or a provocative soundbite, and it can't be explained in 280 characters. But as I traveled the state this past year, it's one of the issues I was asked about most by real people, especially in rural Arizona. It's an issue that deserves our focus and our attention, which is why it's first on my list. Here's the bottom line. We're in a 19-year drought. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Arizona and our neighboring states draw more water from the Colorado River than Mother Nature puts back. It's time to protect Lake Mead and Arizona. It's time to ratify the Drought Contingency Plan. And we have 15 days to do it. Doing so will require compromise. No one stakeholder is going to get everything they want. Everyone is going to have to give. And I've been impressed by the willingness of those involved to do just that. It's been said, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. And many who have served before us have got the scars to prove it. Giants like Governor Bruce Bette and Senator John Kyle, who I was proud to stand next to yesterday at a press conference in the Rotunda. They were my guests on Monday at the Capitol for the state of the state. Leaders like Governor Bette and Senator Kyle have shown us the path. Working with others, setting aside differences, putting our state and the greater good first. Now it's our turn to do the heavy lifting. This issue is important and it's urgent. Our economy, our environment, our future. Arizona needs to prove that we can work together in a bipartisan fashion and get this done. Same goes for a lot of other things, frankly. We've implemented a hiring freeze and held the line on out-of-control growth in government. Today, our state government operates more efficiently. We've gotten government out of the way of job creation, cutting red tape, and placing a moratorium on new regulations. In fact, we've eliminated over 1,000 regulations in Arizona. Imagine if we took that same approach this legislative session regarding laws. We're not short on laws here in our state. Over 107 years, we've built up a hearty 11,000 pages of laws. Certainly, many of our laws have merit. but many don't. So why does each legislative session seem to be a competition to pass the most new laws? What if we found a way to get rid of old, unneeded laws, rather than just creating new ones? If for every law we passed, we repealed 3, or if new laws had sunsets, I'm challenging our lawmakers. Let's chop the stacks and stacks of statutes down so that the laws make sense and are relevant to the Arizona of today. And how about we start with eliminating the most unnecessary law of them all, legislative immunity. That went over real big in the chamber. We are a nation of laws, not men. No one, not me, nor any state legislator is above the law. Now, Congress likes to exempt themselves from the law. But isn't that why Americans hold them in such contempt? Our elected leaders should live under the same laws as every man and woman in this state. Let's send a referral to the ballot and let the people speak on special privileges for elected officials. And when there are emerging issues that need to be addressed, we are not going to ignore them. We're going to solve them. 1 year ago, most of us didn't know Parkland, Florida even existed. But now, tragically, it's another on the list, ingrained in our memories, an American vernacular. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Sandy Hook. So last spring, I convened Arizonans in my office. Parents, teachers, principals, law enforcement, prosecutors, mental health experts, Democrats and Republicans, people who weren't Democrats or Republicans, students themselves, with the goal of being proactive and taking action to stop a tragedy from happening here. We researched the 5 deadliest school shootings of the last 20 years and asked, how could these have been prevented? We built a plan that could make a real difference. The Safe Arizona Schools Plan. More cops on campus. More school counselors. Improved background checks. A stop order that protects Second Amendment rights while keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a lethal threat. These are solutions that will make schools safer, and it's time for us to get it done. I'll be including some elements of this plan in my budget that you'll see Friday, with an even greater investment than I proposed last year. We know when a police officer is around, it makes things safer. Who do we call whenever there's trouble? Our brave men and women in blue. That's why we're including enough dollars to put a cop on every campus that needs one. And I'll be working with legislative leaders to pass the rest. This plan is a reasoned and balanced approach, which is why thought leaders like David French at the National Review and Hugh Hewitt have endorsed it, why the Arizona PTA supports it, and why we modeled elements of it off Gabby Gifford's plan. This is simply too important an issue to let partisan politics and special interests get in the way. We've got a responsibility to do something for our kids, and we've got to do it this session. Whether it's water or school safety, these are things that matter. We know that. We've been here before. We've done it on issues like university bonding and fighting the opioid epidemic. And it was just 8 months ago we delivered a 20% pay raise for hard-working teachers. When we unveiled that proposal, many said it was not possible. And there's no doubt there were forces standing in the way. But because of teachers, lots of them, and principals and superintendents, PTAs, parents, education champions, and business leaders, and with the leadership of J.D. Mesnard and former President Yarborough, with bipartisan support from leaders like David Bradley, Sean Bowie, Andrea D'Alessandro, and Steve Farley, we got the pay raise passed and into teachers' paychecks. Half of this commitment was added last fall, with some school leaders going even further. Avondale Elementary, Agua Frio Union High, Tolleson Elementary, many others. And to anyone out there considering using these resources somewhere else, I have one message. Don't even think about it. These are raises teachers earned, and they are raises we are going to fulfill and protect. And more is needed on K-12 education. A focus on results, resources, and reforms. Arizona has been the leader in school choice. It's good for parents, and most of all, it's good for kids. Healthy choice and competition brings about innovation. And that's been the case in Arizona public education. But we also know improvements can be made. More transparency, more accountability, and granting more financial review and oversight over taxpayer dollars. All with the purpose of making sure every public school is improving while providing Arizona kids with the best possible education. Same goes for addressing the teacher shortage. In my past life, I used to tell my team at Cold Stone Creamery, if you find a good idea, grab it. So as we built Cold Stone, we borrowed ideas from others. McDonald's, Subway, Starbucks. And I confess, I've kept the habit going. 4 years ago, I heard what sounded like a really good idea to address the teacher shortage. If someone graduates from an Arizona university, is willing to stay in Arizona and teach in a public school, why not allow them to graduate debt-free by providing a scholarship? So, we turned it into a reality and launched the Arizona Teachers Academy. Already, 221 students have started moving through the program. This year, we plan to significantly expand it. More dollars, more support. We are going to create a pipeline of talent and the next generation of Arizona teachers. Education and our economy go hand in hand. Many of us remember a class back when we were in high school called Sharpe. It's where a lot of good people discovered a passion. They turned into a purpose, and then a pretty good paycheck. Our education leaders are creating the Sharpe classes of the 21st century. It's called Career and Technical Education, CTE. Today's students in these programs are training to become nurses, pilots, pharmacists, bankers, firefighters, and software developers, all before graduation. In fact, 99% of CTE students graduate high school. 99%. A much higher rate than the national average. They perform better in mathematics and reading, and their technical skills rival professionals in the same trade. We've got some great programs all over this state. Aviation at Pima Community College, advanced manufacturing at Maricopa Community College, diesel mechanics at the Western Maricopa Education Center. Today, we have more jobs available in the state of Arizona than we have people to fill them. Whatever and wherever the skilled trade is needed, Arizona is prepared to meet the demand. I want to recognize an education leader who is paving the way here in the East Valley. Greg Donovan, who is the superintendent at the Western Maricopa Education Center, thank you for your leadership. These are programs we plan to build, expand, and align with the jobs of tomorrow. And my budget will do just that. If people want to work, let's let them work. 100,000 people will move to Arizona this year. There's a job available right now for every single one of them. Lots of them are trained and certified in other states. Standing in their way of earning a living in Arizona are our own licensing boards and their cronies who tell them, you can't work here, you haven't paid the piper. Let's stop this foolishness and pass a bill to grant universal recognition for all occupational licenses and let these people work. And before those unelected boards feign outrage, let's remember, workers don't lose their skills simply because they moved to Arizona. And in the name of good government, let's have the bullies on these boards answer 3 questions. What do you exist to do? How do you know if you're doing it well? And who would miss you if you were gone? There's dignity in all work. Last fall, I visited our state prison in Buckeye, Arizona. There, joined by Arizona Cardinals defensive back Antoine Bette and D lineman Corey Peters, along with Cardinals president Michael Bidwell, we saw the possibilities of opportunity for all firsthand. At a job fair, soon to be released men and women were excited to participate in a program that equips them with the skills necessary to successfully re-enter society. They lined up at employers like Jackson's Car Wash and Hickman's Family Farms. Some left with multiple job offers. This is a program we need to secure well into the 21st century to protect public safety and reduce Arizona's prison population. Arizona's economy is booming. There's no doubt about it. We've added nearly 300,000 new jobs and 300 new companies in the last 3 years. Amazon, UPS, Anderson, Chewy Inc., Ball Corp, just to name a few in the West Valley. And I'm proud to say our relationship with Mexico is stronger than ever. With an updated North American free trade deal known as the USMCA, this will mean even more trade coming through our ports and more jobs for Arizonans. I've become fond of saying, the last time unemployment was this low, you were renting your movies at Blockbuster. But the benchmark is moving. By the end of this year, unemployment is forecasted to plummet to levels we haven't seen since before you were carrying a BlackBerry. Some said the teacher pay raise was unsustainable and based on rosy projections. Turns out those projections weren't rosy. They were in response to a growing economy that has led to a record balance in our general fund. 4 years ago, we faced a $1 billion deficit. It's not by accident that today we have a $1 billion surplus. And breaking news, somebody called The Daily Show. We even own the state capitol again. Arizona and the West Valley weathered the storm, made tough decisions, held the line on raising taxes, and will continue to hold the line on raising taxes. It's the Arizona way, and it's a winning game plan, and I have no intention of changing course. Government didn't rebuild Arizona. People rebuilt their businesses. They hired and invested. Workers and families rolled up their sleeves. So for their sake, let's make sure we're on strong footing today and into the future. With revenue soaring, some have suggested, loosen up. Let the good times roll. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen that movie before, and we know how it ends. It wasn't that long ago, this state racked up a massive tab, one on a spending binge, with no long-term plan of how to pay for any of it. And when the economy tanked, every one of those false promises evaporated. It was painful for real people. Let's learn from the mistakes of the past. To the big spenders, on November 6th, the people spoke. They want their teachers paid and their budgets balanced. So the balanced budget that I will present on Friday fully funds the priorities we know are important. Public safety, child safety, education, above and beyond inflation. There are some targeted investments in critical areas, but frankly, for a surplus year, this budget is pretty light reading. Because I'm proposing that we secure Arizona's future and prepare responsibly for the unexpected and the inevitable by bringing our rainy day fund to a record-breaking balance of $1 billion. If ever there were a way to protect public education, to protect the pay raises our teachers have earned and deserve, to prevent budget gimmicks, band-aids, and massive cuts down the line, to avoid tax increases and budget standoffs and government shutdowns. It's through this thoughtful, prudent, and fiscally conservative approach. 4 years ago, as a new governor, I inherited 35,000 hard-working state employees, $40 billion in combined spending, over 200 boards and commissions, and 43+ state agencies. We got to work restructuring a government that should operate at the speed of business. We've made a lot of progress. We've got less bureaucracy, more efficiencies, and still there's a lot more to do as we look to save taxpayer dollars and streamline state government. Our dedicated state employees will continue to play a critical role in shaping this direction. We'll rely on their expertise and know-how as we better apply technology and customer service techniques to further consolidate our government. This is another nonpartisan issue. It's not Republican versus Democrat. In our nation's capital, both parties are equally guilty for bloated government, spending sprees, and unmanageable debt. If anything, it's an Arizona versus Washington, D.C. issue. The federal government is broken, and broken down, and has been for decades. Washington could learn a lot from us. When the federal government failed to secure our border, we created the Border Strike Force, combating crime without interrupting trade. We know the value of time, so we reduced wait times at the MVD. Our Department of Public Safety and Child Safety has become a national model and the envy of other states. And yes, when Congress failed to do their job, we kept the gates of the Grand Canyon open. I've spent a lot of time these last 4 years making a lot of new friends. I've been to every county, in dozens of schools, in our state agencies, businesses, large and small. It's been fun and pretty darn delicious. The chocolate chip cookies at Beyond Bread in Tucson, the Especial at Lutz Casino in Yuma, and you've got to try the pies at the Muggy on Moose in Payson. And don't forget about Raul and Teresa's Mexican food. Or let's just say, you don't have to guess my New Year's resolution. We've got great people in this state. Some have been here for generations. Others just got here yesterday. And then there are those we said goodbye to this last year for the final time. Their memory and their legacy will live on. Congressman Ed Pastor, Superintendent of Public Instruction Carolyn Warner, Treasurer Carol Springer, Chief Justice Bud Jones, Senator John McCain. Others had names we were not familiar with. Their lives cut short in the line of duty. Their service will be honored and remembered all the same. Staff Sergeant Maximo Flores, Chief Ward Officer Taylor Galvin, Staff Sergeant Alexander Conrad, First Sergeant Nicholas Amsbury, Army Specialist Robert Jones, U.S. Deputy Marshal Chase White, Nogales Police Officer Jesus Cordova, Salt River Police Officer Clayton Townsend, Trooper Tyler Ednoffer. Their ultimate sacrifice reminds us of the sacrifices made every day by our heroes in uniform, law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, correctional officers, our National Guard and military personnel. We salute you. We are proud of you. We thank you. We know to truly secure Arizona's future, we can't do it without you. And we pledge to continue to support and invest in you and your families. Ladies and gentlemen, Arizona has got its work cut out for it. It's time to put party labels aside. It's time to put Arizona first. It's time to do the things that matter. It's time to get to work. Thank you, and God bless.